Hello, everyone. My name is Carter Cooper,
My name's Pete Drost.
and the book that we read was The End of Competitive Advantage.
So as part of this presentation, you'll notice a lot of scenery. And the reason for this is because we hid a yellow rubber duck in one of the slides. And if you find it, we'll give you $1.
So, the author of this book is Rita Gunther McGrath. It was published in 2013 by the Harvard Business Review. And a fun fact about Rita is that she is now a strategy professor at Columbia Business School.
So as far as the content of this book goes, it's all about the shift to transient competitive advantage from a sustained competitive advantage. So in a traditional sustained competitive advantage, you have an opportunity that your business exploits and you build your business around exploiting that opportunity. The difference between that and the transient advantage is that rather than building your business to become protective of the opportunities you have, you more build it around just developing a proficiency to cycling through opportunities quickly. Um, so the way you do this is you have to be fast and roughly right. Get the opportunities as they come. When they get cold, disengage, move on to the next one. So key to be successful is to be fast and roughly right rather than precise and slow.
And like I said earlier, the book was published in 2013. And what Rita looked at was she looked at firms that firms in a 10-year period. And within that 10-year period, they had to be successful. And during that time, the 2008 recession hit, and we saw it affect a lot of companies in bad ways, but some were also able to stay successful. And the ones that were able to stay successful were the ones that utilized the transient advantage. And this just solidifies the evidence that this strategy is valuable in today's economy.
As far as the communication aspect goes, there was a little bit of a bias, especially when dealing with the company Kodak. And I say that because the author's father worked for Kodak as a scientist. He had a good career there. He won some awards. But his view on the company's strategy, he had a few stories about how he didn't think it was good. So I can't help but think that that impacted her analysis of the company. And then as far as how the book reads, it's formal and as a self-help book for business strategists. So the target audience, business strategy-minded people, and the self-help portion comes in chapter 7, which is all about using a transient advantage in our own lives.
So the few connections that we made, one was with our Purdue career, how early on we took classes that we knew what was expected of us. They gave us the information. We knew what was going to be on the exams, and that's how we was successful, and that's what our sustained competitive advantage was early on in those classes. But once we got to 4:30, all of that went out the window. A lot of critical thinking came into play. We didn't know what to expect, so we had to switch to a transient advantage to be successful within the class.
And then also on here, we have it written that chapter 7 is big time. And the reason it's big time is because not everyone in this class wants to be a company executive, but everyone in this class is going to be a company employee. So that's what chapter 7 is about. It's about um, being a good employee in both the transient advantage company, but also using transient advantage in your employment, like in your career. And the way you do that is, opportunities come by for you to gain skills, learn new things, whether it's, how to code, how, just ways to improve your resume. And it's just highlights how to use transient advantage in your own life. So if you're put off by this book because it's mainly about business strategy, because you're not going to be a company executive, don't worry about that. If nothing else, buy the book for chapter 7. And then as far as conclusions go, the first conclusion we drew was just that this is a common sense strategy. The world moves faster with each coming year, so your strategy should move just as fast. So with that, you have you got to get a new opportunity um, and then use it to the best of your ability. Once strategy grows cold, dump it, move it to the next one. And that leads us to our next point, which is, where does competitive advantage come from?
And the competitive advantage comes from a way of opportunity. And on the right, the image on the right shows the transient wave. The company identifies an opportunity, it prepares for it, and then it exploits that opportunity. And once that opportunity um, kind of runs out. They reconfigure the company, the business, the strategy they're doing, and then they disengage. And then they go find another opportunity. So it's all about finding those opportunities for companies that makes them successful. And that's one of the key components of a business that they need to have, is to be able to find opportunities and exploit different ways they can be successful. And with that, Pete has some bad news.
The bad news is that there's no rubber duck. You guys got finessed, and in my own life, that would have been a bad business decision because I can't be giving out money to everyone. But on the slides, we did hide 4 items. So just comment down below if you can find them and what those items are. But this leads us to an additional conclusion in that one of the things the book pointed out is that don't become too obsessed with one opportunity. You might miss other ones pass you by. So while you guys were all looking for rubber duck, there's other items hidden throughout the slides. So it's just kind of a little game to kind of show you guys that. But with that said, I'd like to thank you all for watching our video.